I'm Mike Mendez. I'm standing at the intersection of algae, agriculture, and energy.
I'm Jason Pyle, and we're changing the world with algal fuels.
I'm CJ Warner. I'm here in Las Cruces, New Mexico, where we're creating the future of energy.
There isn't a bigger problem facing humanity than energy production. It's the basis of our entire economy. It's the basis of our entire civilization.
So America today consumes a whopping 18 million barrels of crude per day. So we only produce about a quarter of that. 75% of our crude requirements come from elsewhere.
It is the greatest problem facing our generation, how to get off of petroleum-based fuels. There's nothing bigger than that.
When people ask me why algae, the first thing I tell them is that's where all the petroleum came from to begin with.
After all, millions of years ago, we had huge algae blooms. They sunk to the bottom of the ocean and produced what we're using today as crude.
Algae is the solution, and the main reason it's the solution is its ability to do photosynthesis, its ability to grab sunlight and to convert that sunlight into what we would say hydrocarbons, which is the energy that we need. Now, photosynthesis is the only thing on this planet that can do it at an industrial scale. Who does photosynthesis best? And it's algae. And the main reason for that is it's a simple organism. It doesn't take the time to make stems and roots and flowers. It pulls in photons of light, converts them into fuel, and then divides.
We can actually produce 100% of our domestic requirements from this technology.
The kinds of things like algae have the potential to scale in a way to produce 1 million barrels a day. And the reason why they can scale is they don't compete with food products, they don't compete with agricultural water, they don't compete with agricultural land. They're able to use natural resources that we're not using today.
I've had 2 commercial jets that have flown on our fuel. This isn't jet fuel mimic or gasoline mimic. This is gasoline, jet fuel, and diesel that's indistinguishable.
So we focus highly on how do you turn algae oil into a product which is a drop-in replacement. A product that can go directly into the existing pipelines, existing cars, trucks, and airplanes that we use today.
This isn't vials, this isn't even gallons. This is barrels of fuel. This isn't a laboratory experiment anymore, it's into being commercial.
So when you think about the vision of crude from algae, you're talking about a new crop that grows in desert land and creating basically a flowering oasis.
This facility is the most advanced algal test and development facility in the world. We spent the last 2.5 years developing it. You know, everybody said that you couldn't grow algae outside. And, 2 years later, we've been the first to demonstrate it.
Here in New Mexico, we have the water, we have the sunlight, and we have the land. All the resources one needs to actually drive this to be a commercial process. And more important, I think, for the state of New Mexico is we're creating a new industry. We're creating jobs, and I think these jobs are going to make the difference within the state.
So here's where we're growing the algae in all the different types to enough concentration where it's ready to be put out into the open ponds.
This is the mini pond area. This is where the science guys come out and make the rubber meet the road before we go to the larger scale ponds.
So this is one of our sort of mid-sized ponds where we're growing the algae in open ponds in order to test its ability to grow in ambient conditions with all different seasonalities.
And as you can see, the algae is starting to take off and grow, and it's just a matter of time where we're going to get some numbers on how many barrels we're actually producing here on site.
The IABR is Sapphire's integrated algal biorefinery. It's a system that actually produces green crude from algae end to end. Once the algae is actually grown, we can extract the oil, take the nutrients in the biomass, recycle it back to the pond, and then process the fuel so that we can use it in our engines.
The fact is, algae is the one technology that has proven that it can replace fossil fuels. This car is essentially being driven with solar power.
That this is real and this is possible.
Today we actually really stand on the cusp of a new industrial era, which is the green era.